Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the MD3 podcast with McKenna Davis from Boston College. How are you today, McKenna?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Great. And we also have a special guest here today from UNC Charlotte, Gianna Cutaia. Hi, Gianna.
Hi, guys. Thank you for having me today.
Gianna, let's jump into a couple questions right with you. The UNC Charlotte, you guys are the Chargers, right?
No, the Niners.
Oh, the 49ers, same thing. 49ers,
49ers.
Chargers. New program this year, right?
Yep, brand new program.
And coming in, you're coming in from Penn State, your fifth-year transfer from Penn State. Like I think a lot of your players at UNC Charlotte are transfers in, getting their extra years in. Brand new program, doing well so far. 5-6 for a new program. That's not too bad. You took Vanderbilt right to the line this past weekend. So what's been your experience so far being a brand new program coming in and coming from a Big Ten to the conference you guys are in with Vanderbilt, and I think JMU you got coming up too, right?
Yeah, it's been exciting starting a new program. I think it's a really cool opportunity to say you get to start making history. It's very interesting to see like how it works. There's the ups and downs of it. A bunch of different girls transferred. We had 12 transfers come in, and it's really cool to see how we're all mixing together. This past weekend, we lost by 1 to Vanderbilt, but like that was a really exciting game. We finally were piecing everything together and like realizing like, okay, like we have to compete now. We're in the American Conference. We're in conference play, and it's going to be tough. We're the underdog in every single situation, and everyone's out to beat us. No one wants to lose to a first-year program, but I'm really just proud.
That would be pretty embarrassing, huh, to lose to a first-year program. So
yeah, that's what everyone wants to do. They want to crush us, but we're holding our own. We're competing, we're getting better, and we're just trying to pave the way of bringing lacrosse to Charlotte and making it a bigger thing down in the South.
All right, great. We and just popped in is Molly Guzik, freshman at Syracuse. Hi, Mal. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Good. Coming off a win, an ACC win this weekend against Notre Dame. I watched that game. It was a great game down to the end, and the day before, the ACC matchup was Boston College playing against number 4 Stanford. Before we dive into the Syracuse situation, McKenna, you're another test for you guys in the ACC. You're still number 1, but you had to travel way out to Palo Alto to play Stanford, and you guys came out with a big win, though. It looked like the offense was running on all cylinders, except for the last quarter. They outscored you 4-1. But going out there, coming all the way back, and a long trip for a top 5 game, and you guys came out on top. How's the team feeling today?
I think we're feeling pretty tired. Traveling was a lot, going back and forth, trying to adjust to the time difference. I think it's hitting me more today than it did yesterday when we got back. But Stanford was a great game, great contest, and they're really well coached. They're gritty. They work so hard, and it was a really good game. And good for Stanford. Being able to compete first time in the ACC. I think they're adjusting really well.
And Molly, you guys played Notre Dame yesterday in the Dome, record crowd. From what I read and seen, so the entertainment part of that must have been great for the fans and just the environment in general. But it was a close game. So tell me a little bit about that experience yesterday.
Yeah, we knew going into the game Notre Dame was going to be a very competitive team. They're known to fight to the very end, and we were up and we let them come back. And I think that's one of the biggest things about our team. Is that we do some really, really good things, but also our consistency is really what we need to focus on right now. But we were able to make it out at the end there.
And you guys are obviously, you still have a few games left. You're running top to middle of the pack in the ACC. We all know the goal in that conference is to make the conference tournament. And it looks like right now with your win over Notre Dame could be on the outside looking in. But you got a couple tough ones left, including the last game on your schedule, Boston College. Is that in your visions right now for the Syracuse Orange, or are you concentrating on one game at a time?
It's always just one game at a time for us. We play Virginia this Saturday, and that's our main focus this whole week.
Virginia, Virginia is holding in there too. Don't think they're in the top 10 yet, but they've been winning too. They're in the middle of the pack of the ACC too. It looks like if they win a couple more, that they'll be able to make their conference tournament. But coming to the end of the season, and only 8 teams make the ACC conference tournament, and it looks like Louisville and Pitt, Cal, and then one more team will be on the outside looking in. And it could be Virginia Tech. They made a couple strides, but they lost this weekend. But the conference tournaments are so important to make the NCAAs. They're automatic qualifiers. Gianna, what's in your conference, what do you guys need to do to win a conference tournament over there?
So we have to beat 3 teams in our conference to make our conference tournament. So right now we only have 4 conference games. So we have JMU, ECU, South Florida, another inaugural team, and Temple. So we need to win 3 out of 4 of those to see the American Conference tournament. I think we're at a great spot right now with our program. We keep progressing, and Vanderbilt really showed that we can compete with the other teams in this conference. So we're really just going to focus on that big game against JMU this week, and work from there and just try to pull it out and beat 3 teams and make the conference tournament in our first ever year.
I was pretty confident that you guys were going to get thrashed this past weekend against Vanderbilt, and you ended up being in 15-14 games. So very, very glad that you guys hung in there. I'm sure Ashley and Taylor Sampone were, wishing for the thrashing too, but having you on the side of the 49ers probably made it a little easy for them. But Molly, you being a freshman, watched the game yesterday. Ashley Volpe saw, coming back slowly. Where do you think the Syracuse Orange is right now and compared to the other teams in the ACC? Be honest.
I think that we have the potential to go all the way to the NCAA tournament at the very end. I mean, obviously the goal is to win a national championship, be there a Final Four weekend, and I absolutely think that we can do that. Like I said before, I just think the biggest thing for our team is being consistent. And like every single game, we've added another building block, and we keep doing that every game against this past weekend against Notre Dame, and we're looking to do that, add another one against Virginia, and then we travel to Yale in California to play there before we play Boston College. And we're just looking to be consistent. We've lost a few tough games, and now we're on the win streak right now. So we're just looking to keep building on top of that. And I think we can absolutely make it to Final Four weekend at the end of the season.
And McKenna, you guys are 5-0 in your conference right now, so it looks like you'll definitely be in the ACC tournament. But you do have some tough games coming up. You have, Pitt coming up next weekend, then I believe Virginia, Carolina, and then Syracuse. So you got basically 3 of the top teams in the ACC you have yet to play. And obviously the goal is to take those games one goal at a time. But what are you guys doing to prepare for, I know Pitt's this weekend, and then, each week the ACC conference plays now. You guys aren't playing 2 games a week now. But what's in front of the Boston College Eagles for, coming up for the next few weeks?
With the next few weeks, the games are a little more spread out. Recently, we've had some back-to-back games. So I think that going into these next few weeks is going to be really focused on body recovery and, just trying to get on all of our treatment and physically be able to recover. And that way, once we've physically recovered, then we can go back out there and compete and get better. But we also need to be able to take this time to mentally get ready for these games, because ACC conference play, any ACC game is a mental game. I think it's a chess match. So physically, I think that as long as we can keep our bodies, relaxed and recovered well, then we can work on our mental game.
And Gianna, I saw in an Instagram post or a note from your father that you are now number 27 in the country in caused turnovers. And so how about, I understand that you're doing pretty well in the ground balls too, but like I tell everyone that they count the ground balls and warm-ups as your ground ball stats. But being, in the top 30 in the country in caused turnovers and being a leader down there, We actually have, three aspects to this podcast, right? Today we got McKenna, who's on the top of the world with Boston College. We have Gianna, with the Chargers coming in. I'm sorry, the 49ers coming in, as a new program, but trying to build her way up. And then you have, Molly with the middle of the pack, Syracuse Orange, but playing a lot of young kids there, which is going to turn out great for them in the end, I'm sure. But you three play against each other, in the summertime and off-time monsters, playing for, coming back over break, getting ready for these seasons. The three of you being able to play against each other with the other probably 40 or 50, commits that go to Division 1, 2, and 3 colleges for Monster. Molly, I'll start with you. How does that impact, you at Syracuse University?
I think we talked about this a little last time I was on the podcast as well, but I think it really is an advantage for us, like especially coming in young. I get to play against players like Gianna and McKenna, people who have experience at the highest levels and the most competitive levels, and I get to compete against them whenever I'm home, multiple times a week. So I think that just really prepared me mentally and also like physically, so I know what to expect when I came in here. And when I come in, I was just able to jump in.
And Gianna, you are coming back from several injuries that you've had over your career, starting at, in high school in Penn State. But, you being able to play against kids in the ACC regularly to prepare you for, the experience you're having at school, how much does that lead into your, coming up with 20, being number 27 in caused turnovers and the record that you're going to hold down in Carolina for your school? But to be able to, are these kids pushing you at home, or how are you making it to, the top 27 in the country for caused turnovers?
Yeah, no, definitely training back home with McKenna and Molly has helped me be so successful. Like, they're two of the best attackers in the country, and they're young. I know McKenna is a senior and everything, but I still view them as young. I'm an old body, 5th year, coming back from a lot of injuries, so don't move as well, but getting to play against them allows me to like figure it out and just be ready to play against that top competition. And it's just fun playing with like your friends at home that you grew up playing with, and they always compete when we're home playing, and like that translates to when you're at your university playing in season. You always have to compete, and we have back home Rochester Monster to thank for that, because it's always a competition.
And McKenna, you when you graduate, you're going to inherit Monster Elite Lacrosse, and what you do with that is up to you. But I want to do a little trivia right now with you three, because I want to have a little fun with this. So McKenna, we'll start with you. If Boston College was to play UNC Charlotte and Gianna was covering you, how many goals would you drop on her?
15.
How many?
15.
15 you drop on her? Okay.
Me? No.
That's a fair statement. That's a fair statement, G.
No. I know McKenna's tendencies. I can lock her down. I'll give you maybe 3.
3. So, Molly, let me hear your thought on that. How many would McKenna drop on Gianna in a game?
I gotta go middle of the road, probably 5.
5.
Molly, 5. 5 to 7.
5 to 7.
She's got a point. She knows your tendencies. I think I'll give her that. But
all I gotta do is stay on
stop
it, like run around her.
All right. You can't take out the knee. You can't take out the leg.
Attack the top foot. Okay, Molly, if the Orange were matched up against UNC Charlotte and Gianna was covering you, what would be the first thing you did?
Hard jab, run by.
Okay. How many would you drop?
I'd like to
Don't
say...
sell yourself short. Come on, she's on here. She's next, so she's going to tell you guys what she would do to you.
I'd like to think at least 3 to 5, I'd say.
Okay. That's aggressive.
I'm kind of self-murdered and mean, but
Hey, I have a personal goal for myself. Any matchup I have, I'm keeping them under like 3 goals. like 4 points, maybe like 3 goals and assists. Like that's pretty good for me. And I've been successful this year doing it. So I know I can take you guys.
Okay, listen, I love the confidence, but we just do have to understand that the competition's a little different. The backups, your backup is a little different. Your slides that are coming to help you are a little different. But gee, I mean, it would probably be the best day of your life to match up against Boston College and your buddy McKenna. If you did have that opportunity, what would you tell your team?
Just
prior
go up
in
there.
pregame. No,
pregame?
you got. Hey, what would you say before the game about
Going
the
against
scouting
Boston
report?
College.
Scouting
Going against
report.
Boston College. And yeah, I would say the same thing I tell them every pregame, that it's just another day of lacrosse. Go out there, have fun, stick to our fundamentals, and just go play. Like we're the
That would be the
underdog.
game plan. What would be the game plan
The game plan?
that you would tell your coaches in defense that they have to do?
Trust each other, play strong one-on-one defense, be gritty. They're going to attack. They're going to move the ball. Can't be flat-footed.
You're being way too nice.
Play our game.
Let's go
I
to
am.
Molly. Molly, prior to, I mean, you got Boston College coming up. There's going to be a lot of scouting reports. What are you? If Kayla comes to you and says, "Hey, what are we looking at with Boston College?" What are you going to tell them?
I would say we got to put a face guard on McKenna Davis. I mean, what do you have, like 40 assists this season already? Something like that. Yeah. 40 assists this season. I mean, obviously.
Face guard her, though. Then you got Clark and Lapinto and Driscoll.
I know, but she's the main contributor. Like, who do you think gets the ball to them? You know,
Okay.
that's just how I see it. Take away, like,
My question.
take away the sword.
You're
Yeah,
next, McKenna. Don't worry, you're next. But I'd rather not see the face guard personally as a father. McKenna,
I would say my game plan would be face guard McKenna Davis, maybe a face guard on Clark too. I wouldn't throw 3 face guards though, but a strong shade to Lapinto. And again, it depends on, I don't know if we would be playing man or zone. I would play man against Boston College. I think especially with all these feeds, they would eat up the zone. But yeah.
all right, McKenna, you're facing Syracuse. You know, number 22 in Syracuse is coming full force at Boston College. What are you going to tell your team? What's the scouting report the week before?
A scouting report, get her in transition. Don't let her run up the field. She's too fast. And then don't let her shoot from the outside. No outside shooting. It's too much momentum.
What are you going to tell Shea Dolce on her riser?
Yeah, don't drop low because I know the low to high is.
Okay, if you were so lucky to play the UNC Charlotte 49ers, McKenna, what are you telling your team about attacking Gianna Cutaia if she's on them?
On the
Come on,
record,
you got to attack the knee, right? You got to attack the
attack the top foot.
That's right.
Thoughts. Don't like in and out like corkscrew her in. You just got to run by.
Okay.
Make
All right.
contact. Full contact. Gianna's just gonna.
Cross check you, probably.
Yeah, there'll definitely be some cross checks there, right, G?
A couple cards flying with Gianna too.
Okay.
Hey, I've got 2 on the season, I think.
Look, can you just give us a quick 10-second recap, G, about what did you say to the referee the other day that got you a yellow card?
I'm so glad he asked.
I was a little upset that I got called for a push when the girl on Vanderbilt was warding me because it was clean defense. It was a great 1v1. And I disagreed and I walked away and said something under my breath and the ref might have heard it. So I got a misconduct. Not my best moment in lacrosse. Definitely out of character, but I was a little frustrated because when you have a matchup and like you just want to stop her and the calls aren't going your way, you get a little frustrated. Lost
So
it
you
for a
thought
moment, but
by saying that to the referee was going to help your cause?
I
Probably
was
not, right?
saying we have to watch the ward.
Okay.
That can't be
I'm not sure that's what you
happening.
said to him, but I am going to get a
no,
lip
I
reader.
don't-
I am
I
going to
don't
get a
gotta
lip
read
reader.
I don't got to repeat what I said when I was walking away, but
I don't agree that that's out of character for you, though. You know, that's pretty on brand.
nope, the off character.
It's pretty on brand.
Well, it's so on brand. I mean, it's so like daughter like father. I was getting texts from her father about he can't believe that G just said that to an official, and I'm thinking to myself, oh my God, you got the biggest mouth going. You're the one that taught her.
Well, I didn't say it directly to the official. I want to make that very clear. I was saying it more like to myself, like, you got to be kidding me. And
Okay. And there was did you F-bomb in there?
could have been. Hey, all I have to say is that I did the right thing. I went up to the ref. I apologized.
Oh, wow.
Out of line, and I'm
And
sorry.
he
I
said,
didn't
go sit your 3 minutes or 2 minutes.
No. She said, I appreciate it. Number 2. Thank you. You didn't have to do that. And you want to know what? I think she liked me the rest of the game because they rewarded me a charge later in the game. So
Oh, nice. The Chargers. That's why I keep calling you guys the Chargers, because you take so many charges.
yeah.
Molly, what
Sacrificing-
was in the trivia? What was the turning point in the game this past weekend for Notre Dame? I know you were playing against Katie Malabar, who was on the other side, on the Notre Dame side. But what was the turning point of you guys winning that game?
Well, for them, I think their turning point, being able to come back and have a very close game with us, was just our lack of energy, and that's completely on our fault. It's completely our bad. But for us, I think it's just, I know Kayla said it in the post game interview. Like, people just have to step up in big moments and close games. And I think one of my fellow freshmen, Caroline Trinkus, she had 4 goals that game, and she just played out of her mind. She has been all season, and I think seeing her, she put us up the lead by 2, and I just think that was a huge moment for us at the end of the game that allowed us to play very closely with them at the end and allowed us to trust everyone on the field, especially when they had the ball at the end. Allowed our D units to really lock in, and on offense too, and we got to come out with the win.
Well, yeah, it was a very exciting win for you guys. And, back to the trivia. If you were to give us a top 5 right now in the ACC, or the whole, give us a top 5 in the whole thing. Give me your top 5 starting with 1.
1, Boston College. 2, UNC. 3, us, Syracuse.
Ooh, you're gonna put the Cuse up there ahead of Northwestern?
I thought you said ACC.
No, I changed it back the whole one.
All right, I'm still putting us above Northwestern.
Okay.
We had a few empty netters on us and 8 meters that could have been
Not called.
without. Yeah, not called. If we didn't do that, then I think it would have been a lot closer game. I think that game for us, it really proved that we could stick in the game with a lot of big teams like that. Obviously, the score didn't reflect it completely, but we were in that game. So I would say us, Northwest.
Right. Even though they just thrashed Maryland.
Yep.
And I did speak to your buddy Devin Livingston. And,
yeah.
She even said, "Well, we got wrecked."
Mm-hmm.
Right. So
Devin's-
Devin scored a goal.
Yes, and I saw that.
So glad for her, but she was, she doesn't like to lose, but even she admits that they
nobody
just took a complete beating there. So you got Cuse, then you got Northwestern after that.
Yep.
Okay, and then
Yeah.
who's 5? Who's 5 for you? That's the big question. Who is 5? We can figure out the 4.
Who is 5 right now?
Stanford.
Still?
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they lost to you guys, but they. All right, I'm gonna come back to you, Mal, because you're not
I'm gonna
answering
have
the
to think
question.
about
But
that.
Gianna, in your opinion, who is speaking of team, your teams in your conference, who's 95 through 100?
In our conference, like JMU is the powerhouse right now. They're like ranked 14th in the country.
Oh, they're 14. Okay.
Yep. So they're definitely leading the conference. They've put a beating on every team in the American so far that they've played. And then I do have to give credit to USF, sorry, being an inaugural team. They're going out there, making a statement. They're a tough competition there. And then I feel like everyone else is kind of just like middle of the pack. It can be anyone's given game, like any day.
But in the big scheme of things, JMU is in the top 20 of the IWLCA, and they're in your conference. So you'd everyone after that is kind of running in between 20 and 50, I would assume, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. McKenna, give me your top. Who do you think? And don't be shy.
I know. I don't know if you know this. The rankings were updated, and Hopkins is at 4, with Florida at 5, and Stanford at 6.
I did not know that. It must have got updated in the last 10 minutes because let's not look. So Hopkins is 4 now?
Hopkins is at 4. Florida's at
good
5.
for them.
QC at
Where's Cuse?
They're at 7.
7, Molly. What is 7?
I have at the 3.
You have it at 3.
I do. I have us at
They got you at 7.
Well,
I'm not sure.
You guys moved up from 8 to 7.
All right, so they moved up. But Hopkins number 4, making a statement that they really are, right? They're in the Big Ten. They put a whooping on someone this past weekend.
Rutgers,
and but they're gonna. I think they still have to gonna get past Northwestern. But that's Michigan. I'm sure has dropped, right?
Yeah, Michigan's at 13.
Oh, they started up way high. They're definitely not doing as well as I had predicted them to do. But all right, so let's hear what are your top 5, Kenna?
I would go BC at 1. I would like to see Carolina and Northwestern play before I had a 2, so they can just go 2 to 3, like where they are at right now. 4, I like Syracuse up there in the top 5, but I kind of got to give some respect to Hopkins with their the way that they're playing. And I'm a huge Tim McCormick fan. Like, he's doing really well, and it's hard not to root for him. But I would maybe even go, who's there right now? Florida. Florida's doing really well. I would put Florida up there in the top 5. Florida at 5.
Yeah, Florida's definitely, I think they're on a 4 or 5 game winning streak and they're doing well. But coming down to the end, right? In everyone's opinion right now, it's BC, UNC, Northwestern that are the top 3, right? I'm not sure if that's going to change. Even going into the conference tournaments. But in your opinion, so if BC's 1, 2, and 3 are Carolina and Northwestern, come Final Four, who's the 4th team in your mind that is going to be in the Final Four?
See, I'm going to pay my respects to the Big Ten. I think Hopkins has a chance this year to make it there. I would love to see a Big Ten team in the Final Four. It's
Molly, she just totally threw Syracuse right out of the picture, just so you know.
Sorry. Yeah.
I know Northwestern's in there, part of the Big Ten, but I want to see someone else besides Northwestern from the Big Ten representing. And I think Hopkins this year has a lot of threats, and they can compete. They just gotta keep doing what they're doing and stay consistent.
All right, Molly, if you didn't play for the Orange, let's take the Orange out of it. Who would be number 4 in the Final Four?
I gotta say, I think for my 5, I was between Hopkins and Florida, and I think Florida's got it. Honestly.
Okay. McKenna.
I'm going Syracuse. They always show up when it comes to tournament time. NCAA, you guys don't mess around. And you guys have been there the past 3 years too? Or 3 out of the 4?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Syracuse is definitely, a contender there. They come on at the end. They're going to be tough to beat at the end. But, right now, this past weekend, someone asked me this question, and I said Michigan would be the 4th team in there. And seeing now they're down to 13 and not playing as well as I thought they were going to, I'm not sure if I'm putting them up there, but I'm going to, with no disrespect to the Orange, I'm going to go with Hopkins too. I think Hopkins is going to make their way up there. The key to Hopkins making their way to the Final Four is who they're going to have to play in order to get to the Final Four. If they're gonna be in a top 4 seed, then they really don't have to worry about that because they'll have to play the 5th seed. But if they're not seeded in the top 4, they're going to have to play one of the big 3 in order to get in there, and I think that could be a problem for them personally. Maryland, after the whooping that they took this weekend, I'm not sure where they go from here. They got to regroup, that's for sure. But in order to fill out this last part of the season, some teams are going to lose some big games. And as we saw this weekend with Yale going down, right? Brown beat Yale, taking Yale pretty much out of the immediate picture. But there's going to be some big games coming up. Take Boston College out of it, Molly. Who is the target for you guys besides BC in the last game?
Right now, Virginia. Like, we have to win our conference right now. Looking past NCAAs, we need to get through conference play right now. So, big ACC game this weekend we have against Virginia. So, we're really looking to do that. And then, like you said, Yale lost to Brown, and we're looking to give them another loss next week. So, yeah, that's what we got right now. And then going into NCAAs, I really like to see UNC again. And obviously, however our game goes against Boston College, I'm sure we'll be seeing you guys again as well. So
yeah, the ACC tournament's gonna reshape itself as well. With Carolina, Boston College, Syracuse, and I'm anxious to see who the other ACC team is to step up. It could be Virginia. Virginia's young, but they are playing well. So it's going to be definitely a kaleidoscope of different teams and different options for each one, and it's tough to put your thumb on who's going to be, in those spots. But it'll be great to see over the next few weeks how it all shapes up. Before we end up here today, we'll play one more game of trivia and get you guys laughing. So we'll start with Gianna. Gianna, what is your biggest individual goal for this season?
I think I feel like I've already accomplished my goal, but for me, I took the 5th year.
What was the goal?
To just fall back in love with lacrosse.
Okay. I was really hoping you were going to say to get to 30 cause turnovers or get to 20. How many ground balls do you need to get to before your dad pays you?
Oh, I think I'm like 15 away from $500. I don't think I can say that.
No, that's fine because everyone, just keep doing what you're doing. Keep, when a pass comes to you, just drop it like you usually do and pick it up. That's a ground ball.
The staff people don't count it like that.
Yeah, I think they might.
I don't think they do. No, but the goal was to come to Charlotte, help start a new program, fall back in love with the sport, and that's what I'm doing. I just trying to help these girls pave the way and help make history here down in Charlotte.
Okay, Molly. Individually, you're playing a ton as a freshman. You got a lot of young kids alongside you, and what is the goal right now for the Syracuse Orange?
For the Syracuse Orange, our goal is to win a national championship. Our goal is to be there at the end, Final Four weekend, and just to keep building in every single game. We have a lot to work on throughout these next few weeks, and we're ready for the challenge. We're ready for all these teams and the competition, and we want to play. And I think a big part of our program too is I talked about energy a little bit earlier, and I think that's something so great about our teams that we all support each other really well. So I think just really trusting in each other and having fun and playing the sport that we love together will really help carry us through these next few weeks and bring us to Final Four weekend.
All right. If you were stuck on a desert island with one person of your choice from your team, who would it be?
Oh, I don't know if I want survival or entertainment.
Do both.
Let's see. I would probably pick I'd pick Emma Munchnick.
Emma
For sure.
Munchnick. Okay.
Yep.
What about Volpe? I mean, the kid is just constant comedy.
I know. And she's like a Swiss Army knife, too. That's a good choice, actually.
The Volpe
Actually,
will come
she's
through.
a handyman. She's a comedian. You need something fixed in your apartment, she's got it. She, fall semester, we got in trouble, but she had this like camping grill that she brought outside of our apartments, and she would like grill food for everyone. Hot dogs, hamburgers, all this stuff. The guys like texting the group chat, Volpe, you got your grill. It's
That's
actually
funny.
not real. Yeah. So actually, I might change my answer to Volpe.
Okay. McKenna, Desert Island, someone on your team.
Shea Baker. I'm going
Shea
survival.
Baker for survival.
Yes. And she's
Shea-
really cooking. Like, it would be a fun little way.
Shea Baker has been a complete stud for the Boston College Eagles defensively. If you were to tell your team, come scouting report, who are you putting on Guzik, 22, the legendary number 22 Guzik for the Orange?
I think I'm going midi matchup with Devin Russell.
Russell, freshman.
Freshman on freshman. Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
Molly, what are your thoughts? What would you how would you handle Devin Russell?
I'd try and get in her head, freshman on freshman, kind of like going head to head with each other. But yeah, I would just trust my teammates, trust our systems.
Oh, you're
let the
being
game
way too nice. You got Devin Russell on an island 1-on-1. It's a tie game in overtime. What are you doing to her?
Tie game in overtime. Jabbing
Don't say
and
giving
ripping
it to Emma
from the
Ward.
outside. I'm not. Ripping a shot from the outside. She can't stop it.
I'm
I
sorry.
mean,
And
that'll be at Shea Baker then.
all right, who are you putting on McKenna?
And McKenna, gotta go. If we're in a face card, Superior Clark. If we're not, Coco Vandiver.
Okay. All right. McKenna, you got both of them?
Yep.
You're being too nice.
We'll be fine. It'll be competitive. I can already see it now. I'm excited.
All right, good. All right. Hey, girls, thanks so much for coming on the MD3 podcast. McKenna's got some big camps and clinics coming up this summer that I'm sure she'll want you guys to work at. So make sure your calendars are free to come do your thing in front of all the little kids that want to come learn how to play lacrosse. And I'm sure I'm see both of you down at my house at Club Med down there this summer. And but thanks for coming on the podcast. Love to have you back anytime. We drop it again. This one drops I think on Wednesday. We'll be back at it next Monday. So if you guys are available, we'll get in touch and hopefully have another great podcast. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Good luck in the next week.